this computer. You should have heard that. All right. So my name is Les Makepeace. I am with the Brighton Business Builders of the Brighton Chamber of Commerce, and I am here with the team from TableTop Networking, who are also members of the Brighton Business Builders. And you have a presentation coming up. That's how this ended up getting scheduled because we like to use these videos to hype the presentation. So why don't you take a second and introduce yourselves, and then I'll start throwing questions at you.
All right. Well, thank you, Les, for taking time to talk to us today.
Yeah, thank you.
My name is Diane, and this is my husband, Greg, and our last name is Hewitt-Long. We've been in business from, well, actually 1997 is when we started. We came to the States in 2000. We had no friends, no family, no clients. So the first thing we did is join the Chamber of Commerce in Fort Collins.
Yeah, we were living in Fort Collins. We moved from London, and at the time we were in web development, and that was a business that we ran for a period of time. And the chamber there was key to us getting hooked into the community. So all of our businesses over the years, and our businesses have evolved, have always been members of chambers, and we've been members of other groups as well. We've been over the years we've joined various groups, leads groups, networking groups, etc. And that's, there's been a progression.
There has. We believe in the chambers. We believe in any kind of group that introduces people to other people in the community. So we've always believed in that philosophy. And we knew that for us to join, or excuse me, to grow our business, we needed a community behind us. But like all businesses that have been around for a long time, we pretty much ran out of new connections. And that's where we got a little old. Feel like we were in a rut, really. We were just doing the same thing over and over, seeing the same people all the time, but never meeting any new people. So that's when we decided with a bunch of our networking friends, hey, let's get together and talk about maybe what we could do differently. And that's where the concept started.
So super cool. Before we get into that concept, can you give me a laundry list of the kind of businesses you've been doing since 97?
Sure.
Well, we started in web development together. And my background being IT and Unix systems, we had a hosting division. So, and we still have that hosting division. We host websites, but we specialize in WordPress websites and managed WordPress. For a long period of time, though, on the website of things, we specialized in e-commerce websites. And that was our main focus. But that led us to providing support and security systems or solutions to our small business contacts. And it led to the formation of our business computer security solutions, where we sell and advise businesses large and small on cybersecurity solutions and services that they can use to protect their business and their data.
Clients were coming to us and asking us, how do I keep my stuff safe? So it was like, we just kind of walked into that business. Greg and I, originally we met on the internet, and we were both making websites at the time. And we fell in love and decided we wanted to help small businesses. So our core has always been small businesses. We worked in corporate for a while, but we both decided we didn't like that. We really just wanted to be able to help little guys. That's why we started.
That's where our passion is,
we're still
helping small businesses.
Yep.
I feel that you're familiar with the stuff that I'm doing, right? And
Right.
there's 10,000 wineries in the United States, and our target market is the bottom 9,000 on the pyramid.
Yeah.
Right, because they're all mom and pops.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just think it's a lot more fun to help them, because a lot of times they lack the resources to be able to figure out what it is they should be doing. And so if you can sort of roll in with the answer, And I get a kick out of it.
Yeah.
All right. So you're IT nerds, and along the way you figured out, wow, it'd be nice if we could meet some new people,
Right.
and the efforts of joining chambers and other groups uh, ended up being finite, right? You'd meet a certain number of people, and then that'd be it.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, there were various challenges. I mean, where we live is sort of half an hour from anywhere, but that means it's, round trip an hour from everywhere.
yep.
And, we were in a member of a lot of groups. We were members of multiple chambers.
BNI.
But we found out that, the chambers, we love them. And their main networking opportunity, apart from their networking groups, were their business after hours. And, at one point we ended up with 3 memberships, holding their after hours on the same day of the month. And we'd have to pick which one we wanted to go to. And we weren't meeting enough businesses to grow our network in the manner that we wanted to. And we just thought we wanted to try something that was different. Now, don't get me wrong, we still go to after hours, we enjoy them, but we view them differently now that our main way of meeting other businesses is tabletop networking.
The problem we ran into is that when we would go to those after hours, we would only meet 2 or 3 new people. The
Yep.
rest of the time, we'd go and find our friends, have a couple of drinks, and we'd talk about what was going on in our personal lives.
Catch up,
We
yeah.
weren't doing any business. And that's what also happened in our leads groups that we were doing. It was the social hour. It wasn't a business meeting. So even when we did a one-on-one with people, it was more about social life, or it was one of the businesses would be talking more than the other one. And so it turned out to be a sales pitch, and we didn't want that either.
Yep.
We had to figure out a way to let everybody understand what was new in our industry. And that when you're in IT, it changes quickly. So
Yep.
everybody pretty much thought they knew what we were doing all the time. And for us to keep everybody safe and have them understand what our different services were, we needed to get in front of them on a regular basis in a different manner. And like we were talking about, that mom and pop, those people that can't afford to join a group, that don't have the time, they've got kids or they're running another business, or they can't make a commitment to always go every other week to a group. We had to figure out a way for them to be able to come
Bring them
once a
into the
month.
fold.
Yeah, once a month. And then not have them stand up and talk to an entire group, because that would scare the hell out of them.
Yeah.
We see that in the BBB. We have people whose hands we have to hold
Yeah,
and cajole into doing their member presentations.
right.
I don't have that problem. I would stand in front of the group every week if they'd let me. Um, so for the uninitiated viewer, can you describe what is tabletop networking and why is it different?
Sure. You want to go?
Sure. So tabletop networking, in a nutshell, is speed networking for businesses. But unlike traditional speed networking, which is one-on-one, we do it in small groups around a high top table, typically, depending on what our host has. I mean, if we're in a restaurant that has, regular tables, we'll do it around regular tables. But 4 or 5 people will meet around the table, and everybody gets their 1 minute. We do 1 minute elevator pitches. And there's bells to let you know when your 1 minute's approaching its end, and then there's a bell when it does end so that the next person can go. And then there's time built in to exchange business cards at the end of the round, as we call it. And then after that round, everybody except one moves to another table. So we mix the room up. And we do that a number of times over a couple of hours. And you get to meet, approximately 20 to 30 businesses just by turning up and doing the rounds. So it's just fairly easy to meet new businesses. And some of those businesses will be ones that you've met before. So hopefully they'll have something new to tell you and you'll learn a bit more about them. Or what they say this time might, hit a nerve and go, oh, yes, I didn't need them last time, but I need them now. And I've been reminded, and I'll exchange cards. And it's the initial meat part of networking is all we do. And then we help people understand that they have to do one-on-ones, as the BBB does, to learn more about each other, to bring each other into that network.
So the difference, though, is that everyone is standing around a small, intimate table. I'm going to say something for a minute, hopefully. If I can't talk for an entire minute, someone's going to help me and ask me questions. When I go to the next table, I can say something totally different. It doesn't matter what people say. It just has to come from their heart. The reason why they're in business is what we're looking for. We don't want them to follow a format because we're not an organized group like that. We just want to learn about their business. Once we learn about them, then that gives them an opportunity, like Greg said, on that one-on-one. Our one-on-ones are a little different, though. Again, we believe in equal talk time. So, for example, if we set a meeting with Brian, for example, we would ask Brian, how much time do you have? And if he said, I have a half an hour, we'd break up the time exactly 15 minutes to talk, a piece to talk. So then he could talk for 15 minutes and we could talk about our business for 15 minutes. If we liked what we heard, then let's make another meeting. Other people like to talk for an hour or so. So it's really up to you, as long as each person gets an equal time. That's why we said it that way.
All right, I'm going to call you out, Greg, because you and I met last week, and I didn't feel like it was structured. Are you so coy at managing the structure that I just didn't notice it?
No, that one time I was fascinated to learn about your background because you have an extremely interesting background that I really didn't sort of take the lead and say, whoa, enough about you. Let's hear about me. I wanted to hear about your background and your military service, and I find that all very, very, very fascinating.
Oh, thank you for your service, by the way, Les.
I'd totally do it again if I were a young, healthy man. I was explaining to Greg that I just stumbled into one good deal after another. Not everybody's story of their military service is like that, but mine is, and I'm not ashamed of it. Also, I'm very old, so I have lots of stories that I can tell, uh, military or post-military. Yeah, I'm coming back.
I don't know where we are.
And I cannot recall what we were talking about when the internet decided to hose us. Do you remember what you were chatting about?
Well, I know we were talking about our buddy meetings on our side.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh, and I had mentioned that I didn't feel like Greg was holding me to a script. And he was explaining to me that, well, he didn't think he needed a script for that meeting.
Well, and the other thing is this was a BBB meeting, not a tabletop networking meeting. So it seemed a little bit, rude to maybe enforce our rules.
on your meeting.
Yeah.
Well, but Greg was the one who asked for the meeting, so I would have been cool with any set of rules. But I learned some new things, and I'm hoping you did too.
Absolutely.
To me, that's the value of the one-on-ones, right? Whether you're doing it through your program or the BBB program, or just running out and meeting people, right? You get a minute or two with somebody, and you think, oh wow, this person's kind of interesting. Um, and if you don't ever follow that up, you never find out if they are. Uh,
Exactly.
and so I'm assuming in the tabletop environment, you sort of bang that drum quite a bit. Uh,
We do, and that's why we like the BBB, because you guys adhere to the know, like, and trust principle, and we do too. And we even take it one step further. We think it's you do business with people you know, like, trust, and you value, and you either value their expertise or their offering or their service, but there's something you value about them as well. But you've got to know, like, and trust them first.
So the scenario we ran into is that some of the groups that we were in, they were closed off. There would be only one company represented. And so, for example, if we were in a group with a realtor, but the realtor was someone that was more inclined to offer real estate from the city, and we had a country friend that was looking for land.
Acreage.
We
Yeah.
didn't think that that would be a good fit. So we really felt obligated because we were in that group to give that lead, but we didn't like that restriction. So when we started Tabletop Networking, we wanted to make sure it was available to all companies. We believe that everyone has a value, and that value should be able to be represented at an event that they attend. And because everybody is busy with family and friends and business, we didn't want to make it that they had to come every single week or had to come every single month. There's not a membership. When they have time, come. And because of that, we're very proud of the fact that we have about 10 to 15% new people that attend our events every single month. So the mix that you get is amazing. And you get an opportunity to meet so many more people that are involved in the chamber, involved in BNI, are a brand new startup, someone that is just thinking about a business idea and wanted to throw it around the table, just like a kitchen table.
We get the odd job seeker.
We do. A lot of blue collar, white collar. We get attorneys, doctors.
Well, and we also noticed over the years of networking that certain professions get busy during certain seasons, and you're less likely to see them in a certain season. So roofers, when hail season hits,
They're gone.
they're gone. And in summer, realtors are busy showing houses or whatever that they do, and you don't, to enforce an attendance is not something that we wanted to do in our group.
No. And so because we'd been in business so many years and we ran into so many conflicts with businesses trying to promote. Remember, we started out with web development. And so we began running into people that didn't know how to market themselves because they didn't have time. So they were leaning on the web, but then the web got complicated and the marketing programs that they were paying got really intense and very costly. So it was like, we just went back to our roots and said, we got to figure out a way to help small businesses.
And it starts with the relationships.
Right. Now, what are we doing in Brighton? That's probably a good question that you probably want to ask.
Sure, because you have tabletop in what, 6 towns now? I think
Right. So
and
we started out in northern Colorado. And we were doing Greeley, Windsor, Johnstown, Fort Collins, Loveland, Milliken,
all together.
Loveland, everybody. And we were selling out. So we started a Fort Collins group, then we started a Longmont group, and people were coming all the way from Wyoming to our events, or they were coming down
Coming up from Denver.
Coming up from Denver. And they were saying, you got to start a group down here, or I've got friends in Brighton, they want to do it, and Reunion. So it's like, we started looking into the area and we got a lot of interest. And so we started a group there.
And each community is different. It's something you learn when you start a group. Every community has a different feel to it, and nothing's bad. It's just they have a different personality. I mean, every town, every city has a different personality, and that's reflected when it comes to, the networking in that town. We're really looking forward to growing that Brighton chapter. We have a lot of love for the area, and we're not that far up the road. It only takes us 30 minutes on a good day to get to Brighton, but it takes me 30 minutes to get to the far side of Greeley too,
Yeah.
So your what you guys do in networking, part of the goal is to get fresh faces in front of people.
Always.
Yeah,
And BBB is almost the opposite. It's like a club of, Brighton people.
yeah.
And I can see that there's value in each. Have you found that there's value in each for you guys?
Absolutely. When we came to the area, the first thing we did was we went and sat down with Natalie at the chamber and we told her about our concept. And we told her that we wanted to start one of our groups there. And of course, Tabletop Networking joined the chamber. And then we learned about the BBB group and we met Brian. And Brian was a little wary to begin with. He was like, well, you can network too much.
You did that.
And when he came as our guest to one of our events, he then turned around and said, oh, I get this. This is really good. And we were very pleased that he saw what we saw. And he invited us to come to BBB. And I like the fact that you're not a one-time exclusive group. You guys are, the BBB is a two of each category, because we found the one-offs to be a little bit too restrictive, and I really think it's valuable to have more than one, arrow in your quiver when it comes to referring people. You want to find the best bet or the best match when you refer somebody.
Competition's good. Not only that, it gives people the ability to show their passion, the reason why they're doing things. And we like the BBB because of the fact that it is part of the community. It's a strong part of the Brighton community. But in addition to that, like I said, we want to encompass all different types of businesses that are not part of the chamber for one reason or another, or who are not able to join the BBB for one reason or another. But the whole community needs to be able to benefit from networking and joining together and working together as a community team. And that's why we have these different pockets all over the northern Colorado. Some people are exclusive in Brighton. Some people are exclusive in Fort Collins. But now since COVID, there are so many businesses that are reaching out to all these different communities because they show value to what they offer, and they have the need. The customers have the need for their services, and they don't even know they're there.
Well, and I think another thing you're going to find in the BBB, and you've probably already found it, if you tell me, oh, I'm looking for X, right? Somebody who does something, I'm not going to limit my response to BBB members. If somebody's in the BBB and they do that, I'll point that out to you.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I know a lot more people than those 40 people in the BBB. And if you came to me and said, I need a stand-up comic, guess what? I know one, and can point you at that guy. He's going to be a guest speaker at the BBB in May, by the way. Not doing comedy.
That'll be fun.
He also does
Right.
how to be connected as an introvert kind of stuff.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, and it's good, and he does it with a little bit of humor. So I think you guys will have fun with it.
Right.
So any parting thoughts for the wannabe entrepreneur? You guys have been at this a long time. What is the main lesson or two you would want to share?
We don't know everything. We've been in business for what, 27 years. Every day we learn something new.
Yep.
We meet somebody new that blows us away.
Or you learn something about somebody that you've known for years that you didn't know before, but you don't get to learn those in their, elevator pitch.
Yeah.
You got to take the time to meet people and learn their history, learn their story, learn what motivates them, learn about their family, their hobbies, their passions,
Right.
because you never know what you have in common or who that could be a great referral for them or a great buddy for them.
Right. And
I-
that's our whole thought, is just to get out there and get an opportunity to have somebody really listen to what you're offering, and so that you can get to know somebody else.
Yep. And I think that you don't know everything about somebody. Takes a while.
It
Um,
does.
Christine Pollard in the BBB, who you guys know, I had known her for 2 years before I knew that her son went to the Merchant Marine Academy in Kings Point. I am a graduate of a Merchant Marine school, and I had known her for a long time before I knew she had a Merchant Marine grad in her family. And then, like a couple weeks later, I see her post something at a lacrosse game. I played lacrosse, right? That's not super common here in Colorado. Certainly not common in the UK. And so letting those relationships deepen, which is, the one-on-ones are the first step in that. That's a cool thing. I appreciate you asking me to do a one-on-one this week. Greg, it was fun. I hope you learned a little extra about me. I certainly did about you.
You're fascinating.
Well, I'm old mostly, and
Well,
so
we're old
I have a
too.
lot of life experiences. And like what you were pointing at before, you don't know everything, and you never do. And so every meeting, everything you go do is an opportunity to learn something new. So hey, I appreciate you guys doing this. I'm gonna go into
Thank you.
editing mode. I think Samantha's goal is to start promoting this tomorrow. So
Awesome.
thanks so much, guys. I look forward to you guys You guys are talking this Thursday, right?
I
We
believe
are.
so, yeah.
All
We're
right.
filling in for somebody.
All right. I look forward to hearing about it.
Wonderful.
And I'll see you guys in a few days.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
Thanks very
Appreciate your
much,
time.
guys. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.